Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson at Winterstoke Road in Somerset, where the Saints have boosted a bid for a promotion playoff place with a 2-0 win over Weston-super-Mare. One of the sides are looking to get into the playoff places, but we've now completed a double over them, and it makes for a great 3 days after the win on Saturday, Ian.
Yeah, really pleased, David. Really pleased because again, it's a long journey down here. 3 o'clock meet, and players got held up on the M25, and I think we turned up here about 5 to 7. So it was always going to be a tough start. I felt they started really sharp. Weston didn't show us anything that we didn't already know in terms of the way they keep the ball passable, and it was tough. And we said to the players, let's stay in the game, make sure we stay in it, don't give any cheap goals away. We gave it away a bit too easy first half for me. I didn't think we retained possession very well, but we defended really well. And then second half we said stay in it and you'll get your chances, and that's what's happened. Last sort of 20-25 minutes we've created 3 or 4 chances and managed to take 2 of them.
Weston had a few chances in that first half, maybe about 3 decent ones, but when we went in level, you did fancy us not to lose the game at least.
Yeah, as I said before, all the reports you get from here is that the manager Mark has got them playing football, and you see they're a very exciting young side, and they are a young side, and they do move it, and they've got a great energy about them. And as I say, it was a tough first half because we had to stay in it. 2 wide men never really got much of a ball in the first half. Harvey worked his socks off first half, but picked up a cheap booking for me, and I was just a bit concerned at half time if we go out again. He sort of lost his head, and I didn't want to do what happened at Eastbourne, so we subbed him and bought Antonio, and I just felt Antonio held the ball up a bit better second half. We didn't go so long, and we started to shorten the game up a little bit and retain possession. David Noble started to get on it, Kieran started to get on it, Zane started to dominate down the left hand side, and that's what got us back into the game. And then fortunately enough we've got a corner, and Jamie's, well, to be fair, it was an unbelievable finish. He's just sort of put his foot through it, and it's ended up in the back of the net. And young Percy's come on back in his normal midfield player, and I thought he was great when he came on. He gave us an energy, gave some legs, won a couple of crunching tackles, and got his reward with a great finish late on.
Listening to 2 or 3 of our people around me, they're saying they felt they played too much football at times maybe, and it's cost them goals. They're just too precise around the penalty area, but we coped with it well.
Possibly so. As I say, that's their decision really, and I've said before, sometimes with us I think we overplay at times. In some games this year we've overplayed and gone sideways too much too quickly, and we don't go and penetrate teams, where today we've gone and penetrated them late on. We started to try and hit them on a counter-attack, and it was fortunate enough from that side of it that, as I said before, we're still in the game with sort of 20 minutes to go. Game gets stretched out, and that's what's happened today. So listen, their manager, you've got to admire him for him at the end of the day, because he's gone for a young side, and they do pass it for fun. They might overpass it, but at times, as I said there, we've been overcritical this year that we've passed it too much. But at the end of the day, you've got to take your chances when they come along. We've managed to bring Reece and Antonio on today, who both missed Saturday for chest infections. Sean Lucian's had another sort of 60 minutes today from being out for a while. So, the squad is looking really good. We've lost Sam Merson to chest infection today, so it's looking good. We've got a decent squad going into the last sort of 5.5 weeks of the season, and we just got to maintain what we're doing, keep our nerve, and then see where we are in 8 games now. So, we said with 10 games to go, we've probably got to win 6 of them. At the moment we've won 2, so we probably need to win 4 of 8 to just probably make the playoffs. But as I've said, let's see where we are when we go into the last couple of weeks of the season.
When we had those 2 defeats to Truro and Hungerford, people are looking for clubs that are maybe wavering that you get to the final run-in, and they're obviously looking at us then. But to bounce out these 2 results, and particularly tonight's result, that is quite a statement.
Well, it is. I mean, it was two defeats that were disappointing, but I didn't think that. Many people will criticise in terms of the way we played at Hungerford, but I didn't think that the effort wasn't there. I actually thought there was a great effort in at Hungerford, and I've said it to the players, I'll take full responsibility for the defeat at Hungerford because I changed the shape. But we were struggling in terms of personnel that was out missing. I played 3 at the back, but I wanted to try and get 2 up front. So we did it from a positive point of view. But as I say, I didn't think the shape worked against Hungerford. We went back to the shape on Saturday, it worked. If we've gone back to the shape again today, it worked. But sometimes you have to change your shape when you're missing personnel. We missed Tom Bender that day, who was a massive player for us at the time, and Tariq was carrying a bit of an injury. David Noble doesn't usually play on a Monday after a Saturday. So, there's lots of little things weren't quite right, but the players' attitude on that Monday at Hungerford were outstanding, and they gave me every single ounce of energy. And I would go back this season and I'd probably say on probably half an hour at Harrogate, where I felt we gave up and we didn't really have an energy, and we lost our way against Bognor, even though I think it looked as if we didn't try. There's not many games this season I can come back and say these players have not given me everything and not give this club everything. And tonight, they've dug really, really deep and had to give everything, because if they didn't, they'd have got played off the park at times today. But 2 defeats, they were disappointing, but the players have bounced back. The one thing I won't do is put any of them under pressure. We're not under pressure here to get in the playoffs. We're not under pressure here to win the league. We're under pressure to stay in this league, and that's how it was 2 years ago. And that's what I'll say to the supporters. 2 years ago, when I asked you to come on board when we was in a relegation battle, they were outstanding, and I'll ask them again this week. We're going to go into an opportunity to get into the playoffs, and we need everybody to get behind the changing room, behind the club, and try and get us into them playoffs first and foremost. Once we get in there, I know this town can turn up, because I've seen them go at Chesham 5 years ago. So the people will come and support us, but we've got to get everybody behind the team. We've got to get everybody supporting the team, and let's see where we are, as I say, in 5 weeks' time.
I suspect most people would have settled for a point here tonight, Ian, but on Saturday, home to Poole Town, they won't accept less than 3.
Well, it's going to be difficult, because, as I said all along, and I just said to the players there, Poole have come back from 2-0 down tonight, I think, at East Thurrock. So that shows character. They show they're playing for each other. They all show they're working for each other. And if you look at their team on paper, you probably have to question why they're sitting third from bottom, because they've got some fantastic players there. They've got a squad that got them in the playoffs last year. So something's not been quite right this year. I know their home form has been quite poor, but their away form has been very, very good, and I think we see enough when we played them in the trophy back in November that we're in for a tough game. And if we turn up and think that the job's done because we've just won 2 games on the road, I've said all along, the inconsistency will come back and kick us up the bum, and we'll end up taking a little defeat where we don't need it. We've got to make sure we turn up right, we prepare properly, we make sure we turn in properly. Hopefully we're going to get a big crowd with the international weekend. So, hopefully we can go and turn it on, but we know we're going to be in for a tough game. And as I say, if we don't turn up, prepare properly and prepared for a tough game, then, we'll get a kick in the backside again. Too
early to say what the squad's going to be like for Saturday?
Hopefully at the moment we should be at full strength in terms of Sam coming back in there. I don't think anyone's picked any knocks up tonight. No one's mentioned anything in there. We just got to make sure that we just do the right things at the time, because there seems to be a bit of a virus going around the change room. So 3 of them have gone down with it. They've obviously got over it quite quickly, but we just don't want anyone else going down with it going into this week, because it'd be nice next week. We get a break next week. And then we go into the Easter weekend, so we can get 2 good training sessions in next week before we go into the Saturday and the Monday. And as I said, in 13 days' time, we're going to have 5 games left. So we know where we are. It's going to be interesting, and there's a lot of teams in it. And as I've said all along, the more teams that stay in it, I think Welling have gone and won tonight. The more teams that stay in it, the better it's going to be, because everyone plays a cup final every week. But as I say, there's no pressure on these players. They can go and enjoy themselves. Relax when they're playing football, as long as they work hard, and that's what we've always preached to these boys: work hard and their rewards will come.
How Weston play the game is of little concern to us really, Ian, but when you get the groundsman preparing a pitch like this at the end of March or towards the end of March, it encourages you to play a passing game, doesn't it?
Well, that's what disappointed me, David, in the first half, because I didn't think we passed it enough. I think we went a little bit too long. We gave the ball away a little bit too cheap, I felt, in the first half, and it became a game where it was we had it, gave it away. They then passed it round us at times and got in behind us and caused us problems. We got it back and gave it away again, and I was a bit disappointed at half time, because I just said to the players, if we can pass it a bit more second half, we'll gradually get into the game, we'll gradually get further up the pitch, and we'll gradually start creating chances, which is what we did. And full credit to the players, because they took on board what we spoke about. David Noble started to get on the ball and started to pass in it, and then we started to break some lines and get in behind them, and luckily enough we got the corner, which we've scored, and obviously we created 1 or 2 chances after that. But again, as you say, I think this pitch was sort of under 3 or 4 inches of snow on Sunday, so to get it on today, they've worked tremendously hard. I think when we had a phone call yesterday morning, they said the game was in doubt, and as the day went on, I think it was 50-50, and then this morning we said we think there's a chance it'll be on because the snow is gone. But the pitch is absolutely magnificent at this stage of the season, and you can see why it is, because they do pass it. And as I say, good from us, because I like us to pass it. I think we pass it, but we didn't do that first half. Second half was much better. Lovely, thanks so much, Ian, and congratulations on a great result. So Saints' next in action is coming Saturday, when Poole Town are visitors to Clarence Park. That's on the 24th of March. Kick-off National League South match is at 3 p.m.